Just want to welcome everyone this morning to the XPON pre-briefing. For those of you that haven't met Matt, Matt's on the screen here, and I'm also joined by Phillip Aris, the chairman. Matt's the founder and managing director of XPON Technologies Group. We are extremely excited to be listing XPON today on the ASX at 12 p.m. There has been phenomenal growth in the business to date. As you can probably see, annualised recurring revenue has rocketed to 11 million in annualised recurring revenue. So this morning, for those of you who are new to the story, we really wanted Matt to provide probably a 15-minute presentation, the presentation that has been released to the ASX. So with that said, let me hand over to you, Matt, and we may close out with just with some key metrics as well around the valuation and why we are bullish on the company. In fact, Phil, why don't you introduce yourself first to the audience, and then we'll hand over to Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. My name's Phil Aris. I'm as Rich said, the non-executive chairman. Have been since September 2019. I've known Matt for about 3 years. I'm very excited about the journey the company's come through today and the future. I've mentioned to many people, it's a great culture. They're very young and agile and driven for success. So I'm very excited about the future. Today's a great day and a milestone in our journey. And I'll hand over to Matt to tell you a little bit more detail about the company.
Thanks, Phil and Rich, and good morning, everybody. I think we've got Juliana or Jane's going to share a presentation on the screen. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing that up on the screen now. And once that's up, I can walk everyone through it. But yeah, thank you for joining us and thank you for taking the time out of your morning. Very exciting day for XPON today. So XPON's a business that's really built around three key thematics. So the first one is this really strong increase in awareness around consumer privacy. And I think everyone ourselves know as consumers, we all have this increased awareness and interest around what's happening with our data and how companies are using our personal information online. And that's certainly being matched with the interest by the regulators all around the world. And we see that daily in the news headlines. So yeah, that second big thematic, which is really linked closely to the first one, is a technical thing around the phasing out of third-party cookies. So what third-party cookies are, is they're the technology that's used to track consumers or users on the internet. They're essentially just a little text file that sits on your computer, and it allows companies like Facebook, for example, if you click on an ad on Facebook and you go to another website, that's the technology that's used to track what website you go to and some of the things you do on that website. Those cookies are being phased out. They've been phased out now by, I think, all of the browsers except for Google Chrome, and that'll be phased out by 2023 within Google Chrome. So that's a problem, not just for the big companies that rely on that information to package up that data and sell it to advertisers. It's also a big problem for our customers, because our customers have traditionally relied on that to target their advertising so they get good advertising outcomes. So the solution for that problem is what's called using first-party data. And first-party data is data that companies own about their consumers. So that could be information they might get out of their point of sale. It could be information from their CRM or from their website. There's lots of different sources. And one of our technology products, Wondaris, enables our customers to utilize that first-party data in a very privacy-compliant and anonymized way, and then synchronize that back out into the advertising networks online, so the Googles and the Facebooks and the LinkedIns and all the different online ad platforms, so that our customers can then use that to attract new consumers and new customers online. And it's very effective in increasing the results they get from their advertising. And that third thematic that's really driving our growth is this huge and rapid shift to the cloud. Obviously, COVID helped sort of accelerate that, but that's a trend that's still got a very, very long way to go. Depending on which vendor you listen to, it's somewhere between 40% to 8% complete, that migration to the cloud. So there's still a very, very long runway to go. So XPON's a cloud and marketing technology that's positioned right in the middle of those three trends, and they've been very much helping to sort of drive demand for our solutions and really power our growth. If we just go to the next slide, please. So what it is that XPON actually does. So we have what we call the XPON Marketing and CX Technology Stack. And the best way to think about that is it's like a whole group of Lego blocks that you click together, but instead of Lego blocks, it's software. So we work at different layers of the stack there. We work and partner with Google around the cloud infrastructure. So that helps our customers get their data into the cloud, build their applications and their experiences in the cloud, and then take advantage of that cloud environment to really accelerate their growth and also leverage their data. Because once the data's in the cloud and it's centralized, then it can be used and repurposed in lots of different ways. And like I've just mentioned in the previous slide, our Wondaris customer data platform is the core technology that we use to do that. So we work with our customers, we bring in all the different silos of their customer data, we centralize it inside Wondaris, and then we use the machine learning and the AI to do very smart and predictive analytics. So we can predict things within that, like which customers have a high propensity to churn, or which customers might have a high propensity to purchase, or lots of different other machine learning models in there as well. And then those predictions, that creates a group of customers, or a group of an audience, a smart audience we call it, anonymized, so the personally identifiable information is removed. And those groups of audiences can be then synced out into the advertising networks to target advertising against, or can be used to personalize experiences. So if we just have a look at a typical customer journey and the way that XPON works, we typically land a customer in quite a soft way, and that is really using the what we call our digital maturity assessment. And what that is, it's essentially an audit. We go into the customer, we understand their technology and their data and what their strategic objectives are, and then we build a roadmap. From that roadmap comes the expand phase, and that's where we start incrementally deploying those components, or those little Lego blocks, in the marketing and technology stack. So we deploy the cloud infrastructure, we make sure their analytics is set up and working correctly and tracking everything it needs to track. We make sure they've got ownership of all that data that they need to own, and we make sure that their infrastructure is set up in the cloud. And then we can deploy our Wondaris platform. And then at the sort of next phase of that, and we're seeing a real strong increase in interest of this, particularly because of Facebook's recent announcements around the metaverse, around our Holoscribe XR product. So Holoscribe allows our customers to utilize all that data that we just spoke about and build out these really rich and immersive XR experiences that can then engage customers and take customers on this really new and modern immersive journey. So go to the next slide, please. So the way the business is structured, very quickly, our XPON Technologies business, we have operations and sales hubs here in Australia, New Zealand, UK and Europe. So Sydney, Melbourne, not Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, London is where our 3 sales hubs are. And we have an engineering hub in Vietnam, in Hanoi as well. And then our XPON Platforms business is where our technology products live and are commercialized, which is our Wondaris customer data platform and our Holoscribe XR platform. Go to the next slide, please. So we're very lucky. We're with a lot of great brands. This is just a small snapshot. If you wanted to find out more about some of the other brands we work with, please just go to our website at xpon.ai and you'll find other customers there and case studies as well. But we work across a range of different industries, targeting corporate and enterprise brands. And really the solution that we bring to our customers through our full stack solution is really helping them with less complexity. Like, this is a very complex problem that we solve. So by our customers being able to partner with a company like XPON that can provide that full stack solution, it reduces that complexity. When you've got less complexity, it also reduces costs. We're able to drive greater automation because we've got the data connected through that stack more efficiently. Our customers own all that first party data, so they're able to leverage it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about how we show up inside our customers' businesses. And that's really around metrics of lifetime value and return on investment from their marketing and advertising. So yeah, it's really about helping our customers drive more engaged and profitable customers for them. Next slide, please. We've got a great relationship with Google. We also got a partnership with Facebook, but our Google relationship has been something that's stood the test of time. It's quite unique. We work across 3 different areas of Google. We work across the Google Cloud platform, and we're a managed cloud partner there. We work across the Google Marketing Platform, and we're a managed partner for Google Marketing Platform. And we also work across their ads business as well. So that gives us the unique position to partner with Google, to go into customers collaboratively with Google. About 30% of our business comes from Google, from the sales leads that we get from Google. And we help Google in a number of ways. Firstly, we help them win new customers. We help them expand their existing customers, and we help solve problems technically for their customers as well. So that's a great symbiotic relationship. When we are reselling some of Google's technology, like their cloud platform and their marketing platform, we generate what's called usage fees off the back of that. So for the money that our customers are spending on Google Cloud or in Google Marketing Platform, we earn a clip of that, and that's very high margin for us. And it's very, very scalable for us as well. And it's a win-win, because when their customers are spending more money, they're getting good results. Google's happy because they're making money, and we're happy because we're making money as well. We'll just go to the next slide, please. We've spoken through, I guess at a high level, the Wondaris customer data platform. In the interest of time, we're not going to deep dive into it. What I'd encourage everyone to do is just go and check out wondaris.com, and you'll be able to see a little bit more information about the platform there. It's really built around the concepts of time to value, ease of use, and security and privacy. They're the three pillars. It's quite a differentiated product in the marketplace as well. There is other competitors that offer a customer data platform or a CDP. We think, and the market sort of validated our belief in this as well, that Wondaris does offer quite a unique and differentiated solution for customers there. And we're very excited, I think, about the future growth potential, particularly for that product, because it's a very timely inflection point in the market for the rise of this customer data platform. And we think in the future that you won't be able to do marketing if you don't have a customer data platform. So that will be that mission critical in the future. Next slide, please. So we've already spoken through how we land and expand customers, how we make money. So we make recurring and non-recurring revenue. About 88% of our revenue in the last quarter of this year was recurring, and 12% was non-recurring. So the lines of revenue that are recurring are software licenses, those usage fees that I spoke about that we generate when our customers spend money on the Google platforms, and managed service subscriptions. And that's something we do a little bit differently at XPON. Is when we sell a customer a software license, we'll attach a managed service subscription to that. So that's great for the customer, because it allows us to help ensure that the customer's getting maximum success from that software. And it's great for XPON because it allows us to stay close to the customer, and it really helps with the cross-sell and upsell, which is part of our expand strategy as well. And then in the non-recurring revenue lines, there's some professional services, a bit of consulting and onboarding and implementation of some of the platforms. We have 5 pillars for our growth. The first really is about how we strengthen the existing solutions that we have. We did a little strategic acquisition in June of this year. That's proved to be very valuable to XPON. We secured some very good customers through that we've already been able to not only integrate into XPON, but expand into our other service offerings as well. There's some great talent that came with that acquisition, and we're able to expand the margins from that acquisition very quickly as well, which I'll talk to shortly. We're obviously going to continue to drive that expansion strategy within our existing customers. A big part of the use of funds from the IPO is really to expand our sales and marketing capacity. So over 50% of the use of funds will be really used to drop the hammer and really accelerate our organic growth. Expanding our channel relationships is a key pillar for growth for us also. So, working more deeply and more broadly geographically with Google, and expanding channel partnerships with other vendors like Facebook and some of the other global vendors as well. And then finally, really, it's about expanding and extending our Wondaris platform ecosystem. And that's got 2 pieces to it. How do we allow our customers to build on top of and develop on top of Wondaris as a software tool? And how do we integrate Wondaris into the online SaaS marketplaces so that we can extend the distribution much more rapidly to a global audience for the product? So there are 5 core growth pillars. Next slide, please. Next, we'll just go to the next one there. So some of the key metrics we've been, as Rich sort of introduced the company at the start, we've grown very quickly. Last financial year, We grew 192% organically in our annualized recurring revenue, so from 2.6 to 5 million. That acquisition that we did added another 1.6 million in recurring revenue. So our total growth was 253% for the year. And we exited June at 9.2 million. Between July and September, we added another 1.8 million and ended September at 11 million in ARR. So that was a 19% quarter-on-quarter growth. Next slide, please. Not only are we growing very quickly, we have super sticky customers. Our monthly retention rates are 99.6%. So it's very rare that we churn a customer. And not only do we keep customers, but we continue to grow them over time. Our revenue retention rate's 119%, demonstrating we continue to expand those customer relationships. The lifetime value per customer is currently at 706,000 per customer, and it costs us $28,000 to acquire a customer. So the ratio between the lifetime value and the cost per acquisition is 25 times. And the payback period that it takes us to get that $28,000 back currently is around 6 months. So we feel we've got a lot of headroom there to increase that. We expect that cost per acquisition to increase as we continue to deploy the funds from the IPO. And that's part of the strategy because that'll help expand and within our pipeline and accelerate our growth. So across our entire customer base, our total lifetime value is 137 million currently. Next slide, please. Just very quickly, just on the last quarter's results. So we did a little over 3 million in revenue for the quarter. Our gross profit margin was 62%. It's just worth quickly highlighting that. When we did that acquisition in June last year, the company was called Internetric, so running at quite a low margin, about 39%, I think, from memory. So when we integrated that in and pro forma those numbers, our gross profit for the financial year in FY21 was 52%. So we've seen that expand 10 percentage points just between June and September back to 62%. So we've been able to integrate that business quickly, expand the margins quickly, and really start to really accelerate the value that we're extracting from that. And I've already spoken about the recurring revenue ratio at 88%, so we don't need to go through that. Next slide, please. Next slide. I'm very lucky. I'm supported by an amazing team. You've all met Phil on the call here today. Our other director is a gentleman called Tim Ebick. Tim's got some fantastic experience, particularly in the technology industry. He was the former CEO of SAP and Oracle in Australia and New Zealand. He's also had numerous other executive roles in other global tech companies. And he's got some great board experience on some other ASX-listed technology companies as well, for example, like ReadyTech. Our CFO is a lady called Leanne Wolski. Leanne's got some great ASX experience. She was at Amasim before she came here to XPON. And previously to that, she was at Western Union. Our group CMO, Jennifer Kalan, joins us from WiseTech. So she was previously the former general manager of marketing and channels there at WiseTech. And then our 3 business units, CEOs, Chris Rosick, Ben Fogarty, and Simon Pereira, all very entrepreneurial, all founded businesses themselves in the past and are part of the senior executive team at XPON, and all have some meaningful skin in the game when it comes to equity in the business as well. So we've got quite a experienced and very entrepreneurial team. Next slide, please. Next slide. Actually, I might hand this over to you, Rich, if you want to talk through this.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you, Matt. So, the IPO, we had a tremendous amount of support. Really, really pleased with the register, the way that it sits at IPO. We were significantly oversubscribed and therefore raised the maximum. I think what's really important to note from our perspective is that Matt and the team have been able to achieve the growth numbers that you've just seen with only $5.5 million in external capital. And so, if you think about it post-listing with the unit economics that they have in place, needless to say, we are very, very bullish on XPON's growth prospects with 12.5 in the bank to deploy those funds. And over time, if they can complement that organic growth with some acquisitions, we've seen margin expansion. Companies they acquire, the average revenue per customer expands because XPON have the full tech stack and they're picking up these businesses. We'd expect them to pick them up at an arbitrage if and when that occurs. So, it ticks a lot of boxes from our point of view. The thematic is exceptionally strong with the third-party cookie being removed and then metaverse sort of providing us with a little bit of a free kick for the HoloScribe business certainly helps as well. Just on it from a valuation point of view, I think it's really important to note that we've taken a cohort of comparable companies, so software companies that report annualized recurring revenue. We believe that this will trade on an EV to ARR multiple. XPON was the second fastest growing company in that cohort if you take year-on-year growth from FY20 to FY21. And in fact, it's the multiple is half of the average as well on an EV to ARR basis as well. So on that basis, the stock, if it was to move up to that average even, would be trading at 36 cents. So I think there's certainly upside from the listing price, which is an EV of 48 million from these levels.